We're almost done with the book that we're reading.
Good.
Yeah.
So close to Britney Spears' case.
I know. She takes toxic. Whoa.
Wait, what?
That was a good joke.
I didn't hear you say.
I said she tastes toxic.
Probably. Probably.
Oh, the taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. You're toxic, I'm slipping under. Like that. Taste of a poison paradise. I'm addicted to you, don't you know that you're toxic? It's a weird turn of events considering what I woke up with stuck in my head. The Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Come inside, it's fun inside. It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And then I had Sleeping Beauty stuck in my head for a little while. Yeah. And now Britney Spears. You did. Do it again. You made it! Yay! It's perfectly timed with Mickey on your TV. Nice. La 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 la. Good morning. Do you actually not know the Sleeping Beauty song? Is that why you sang the other one? You don't? Oh, I thought everybody knew it. Does everybody else know the Sleeping Beauty song? Actually, she doesn't have a high voice. She's the, like, almost operatic princess. She goes, I know you, I walk with you once upon a dream.
This is the song I'm supposed to know?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard it.
You've never heard it?
Well, maybe when I saw the movie.
Yeah.
But like,
I know you, the gleam in your eyes is song.
Beauty's the one with the voice.
No, that is Snow White.
What's Sleeping Beauty still? She just sleeps?
Well, I mean, she does sleep. Yeah, you're right about that. She does a little bit sleep, but she...
Okay, she's the one that gets cursed as a baby.
Right, exactly. Yes, good job, babe.
She's like not in the movie.
She's in the movie, though, to sing that song.
But then, like, it switches over to some guy that probably lines for a while.
Becca goes, has he never seen the movie? And then I didn't answer it, and you started talking. She goes, answered. Alrighty then.
I have seen it. And it's proud. I would say that Cinderella, Snow White, and Sleeping Beauty lined in my brain.
We have had a request to sing the Good Morning song. How do you feel about that?
I love the Good Morning song.
Should I sing the Good Morning song? What? The one by Judy Garland? What are you talking about?
Oh, Judy Garland.
It's a Judy Garland song.
I love that song.
Yes.
Ooh, look how brown it is.
No brown.
It's avocado. It's not my fault.
Ah! I did open the advent calendar for the day. We sure did. The video will be up
You made a
after
video.
book club. You do know the song though. I sing it all the time.
Primo Dolce?
No, the Good Morning song. Primo Dolce.
Good morning, good morning.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, of course I know that song.
Yeah, it's a Judy Garland song.
I was singing it earlier.
Becca said, "Excuse you, sir. How are we supposed to dance without a warning?"
She didn't even try to dance. What she
Yeah,
heard.
but you didn't give anybody a warning to dance.
I'm sorry. I'm a failure.
Have they been great or just okay? They're great. I love the Nespresso pods. I have no complaints. You're not a failure. Don't say that. She accepted your apology.
That's good.
Yeah, it was nice of her. Good morning, good morning. We danced the whole night through. Good morning to you.
I assume she like quote unquote danced. You know, like danced.
Who?
Judy in the song.
Why?
They danced the whole night through.
Yeah.
Did they dance or did they dance?
Oh, well, neither. They're trying to sell a song to a publisher in the scene. They're trying to sell this song. They didn't actually do any of these things.
Oh, well, that's what they're implying, though.
Yeah. Is the pickle crew neck from TikTok? I love it. Yes, my friend Jess makes these. And yes, she does sell them on TikTok. That is true. You are correct. All right. Let's get radical.
I gotta get dangerous.
Oh, let's get dangerous. Morning. We've danced the whole night through. Good morning, my darling, to you. When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say goodnight. So good morning, good morning. Sunbeams will soon smile through. Where are they? It's awfully gloomy.
Yeah, but it was nice this morning.
Yeah, you're right.
You're able to sleep a lot longer.
That's true. Yummy.
Rating?
Compared to
Every other day.
7? I like the berry ones and the cherry ones.
Well, we have cherries again now, so we could bring those back.
A failure?
A failure.
No, not about that. She asked why you think you're... Wait, what? I'm confused. I missed something. Looks like eggnog with chocolate milk. We did have eggnog ice cream last night. It was quite good. I don't understand, Becca. I missed something.
Homemade eggnog ice cream.
Homemade eggnog ice cream. Whoa. So cool. Yeah. Morning. Is everybody ready to read a story? We're on chapter 25 of 30. Whoa. Oh, the smoothie dance thing. Yeah.
Oh, is that why the rating was low?
Yeah.
Retribution?
Yeah.
That's mean.
Well, what are you gonna do? All right. Let us read. Where do we think we're gonna go now? We don't know where we're gonna go.
Narnia.
You think we're gonna go to Narnia?
No. Too many losses.
Just so you guys know, it looks like we have this much left in the book, but that's not actually true because there's like the preview of the chapter in the next book and also his like thank yous and stuff. So we actually only have this much left. That's not really very much.
He wrote 90 pages of thank yous?
No, and there's a preview of a chapter from the next book. Which we will read, don't worry.
Did you read the preview?
Oh, no, he doesn't think he's a failure. What? Do you read the preview? We did last time, yeah. Did they ever make it to Oz? No. Yeah. Well, yeah. They went back to the fairy tale world. Red and the boys. Yeah. Okay. Let's read chapter 25. It's called The Witch of Papelnick. Connor should have known better than to trust the merry men. The morning after the Sheriff of Nottingham was scared off, he assigned Little John and Will Scarlet to find 2 of the ingredients he needed for the portal portion. Oh, babe, we're back with Robin Hood. Are you excited?
Hooray!
Yeah.
I hope there's more songs.
I don't know. We'll find out. He did tell them they weren't allowed to sing any more songs, though. Remember, that was like part of their deal.
What?
Yeah. A few hours later, they returned with the exact opposite of what Connor requested. Little John dragged a freshly chopped tree into a camp and proudly presented it to Connor. It was lively and covered in bright green leaves. I thought you said you wanted to choose the branch, so I brought the whole tree, Little John said. Will Scarlet followed shortly after in with a caged pheasant. The bird was so old, all its remaining feathers were gray. It wheezed so heavily that each breath had the potential to be its last. Well, I found him just sitting in the woods, Will Scarlet said. He didn't even put up a fight when I caged him. Connor sighed and rubbed his eyes. Guys, thank you, he said, but you mixed up my instructions. I said I needed a branch from the oldest tree in the woods and a feather from the finest pheasant.
Little John and Will Scarlet pointed to each other as if each other was to blame. That's what I thought you said, but he told me you said you needed the oldest pheasant, Will Scarlet said. No, you told me he needed the finest tree in the woods, Little John said. Yeah, but Red went back to Oz, Shelley. Red went back to Oz through the book. I did not. You did too. Connor stepped between them just as they were reaching for their weapons. Stop fighting, he said. You both need to try again. I'll send the Tin Woodsman and Peter with you this time so that you don't get confused. The Tin Woodsman and Peter followed Little John and Will Scarlet back into the forest. They passed Robin Hood, who was finally returning from an errand Connor sent him on the night before. I have returned, he announced. Did you get the lock and the key from Maid Marian? Robin Hood leapt off his horse with a triumphant smile, but his face quickly fell. No, he said. I have failed you, sorcerer! I spent all night outside Maid Marian's castle window. I announced my presence, and I called her name, but she never opened her window. Dang it, Connor said. Does anyone else in this camp have a girlfriend? Alan Adale and Friar Tuck were the only merry men left in the camp, and the candidates weren't promising. Never mind, Connor said. Robin, can you go back to the castle tonight and try wooing her again? Anything for you, sorcerer, Robin Hood said. But I fear that I may not work. I feel as if Maid Marian and I are drifting apart. Therefore, even if I collected a lock and key from her, they may not be worthy of your potion. Connor slapped his hand on his forehead. He couldn't believe his luck. If he wanted to go home, he would have to solve Robin Hood's relationship problems on top of everything else. Robin, let's have a chat, he said. What is a chat, great sorcerer? Robin Hood asked. It's a talk. Let's sit down and talk. Connor had a seat by the campfire, and Robin Hood sat across from him. Let me ask you a question, Connor. When you talk to Maid Marian, do you always talk like this? Robin Hood gave him a funny look. There is no need to shout, sorcerer, Robin Hood said. My hearing is impeccable. I have the ears of a fox. Connor rolled his eyes. He had never met anyone so clueless in his entire life. Robin Hood made Red look like a Rhodes Scholar. Robin, I don't know any other way to put this, but you're volume challenged, he said. Maid Marian probably needs a break from you so her eardrums can heal. Tonight, when you call for her, I want you to speak like you were talking to a baby. A baby, you say? Robin Hood asked. Connor covered his mouth with his finger. Much quieter than that, Connor whispered. Pretend Marian is a small, delicate infant with sensitive ears. Robin Hood didn't understand the point of this, but he would oblige any request from his sorcerer. Next question, Connor said. What did you and Marian talk about when you were together? The fall of Prince John and the restoration of Nottingham, he said. Tonight, I want you to start with a simple, how are you? Connor instructed. Ask her how her day was. Compliment what she's wearing. Ask her if she's gotten her hair cut recently. But Marian's hair is always covered by a veil, Robin Hood said. It doesn't matter, Connor said. Girls like to feel special. They don't want to hear about your battles or your pillages or whatever you do with your merry men. They want to know about your feelings, especially how they make you feel. Oh my God, Tasha, if I make you a crochet or a ment to match your tree, can I send it to your PO box? Sure, what's an ament? I don't know what that is. That's very sweet, but I don't know what that is. Yeah. Ornament. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I was really like, what is that? Is the new thing that yes, please, I would love that. Please, happily, please. The tree would love a crocheted ornament. Yes, 100%. Now that I know what you're talking about, yes. I was very confused. Yes, yes. I will affix it atop the tree. how they make you feel. Marion makes me feel like the luckiest man in Nottingham, Robin Hood said. Bingo, Connor said. Make sure to tell her that. It was obvious by the face that Robin was making that being considerate was something he had never considered. Thank you, oh sorcerer, he said, and gave Connor a strong pat on the back. You are wise in the ways of women. Is there a sorceress in your life? Connor smiled. Yeah, there just might be an iron in my fire. Sorcerer, you mustn't leave an iron in the fire too long. It might burn you when you come back for it, Robin Hood said. Connor couldn't tell if this was another clueless remark or a deep metaphor. Either way, Robin Hood was right. Friar Tuck tapped Connor on the shoulder. Sorcerer, forgive my interruption, but may I ask you something? Yes, Padre Tuck? Connor asked. Friar, Tuck corrected. I made a list of the items for your potion. Should the others return with the correct items, all you would need is moonlight and a splash of magic, as you described it. Is that something that you will need to collect, or were you planning to supply it yourself? Oh yeah, I forgot about that part, Connor said. He forgot his sister wasn't there to finalize the potion with magic. Hey, Friar, if the sorcerer was tired, is there anyone else in Nottingham who could supply some magic? Normally, sorcerer, it isn't my nature to dwell on witchcraft, Tuck said, looking around the woods to make sure that the other friars weren't listening. However, there is a horrid woman living in the castle who I believe has danced with the devil, if you will. Her name is Maudlin, known throughout Nottingham as the Witch of Puppernick. She works for the sheriff. Alan Adale strummed a dramatic tune, oh babe, here we go, on his mandolin that made Connor jump. She predicts his future and curses his enemies with devilish concoctions. She hears injuries. Great, Connor said sarcastically. And someone would have to sneak into the castle to get her? I would assume so, Tuck said, but Connor didn't know why he was surprised. It wasn't a real Bailey scavenger hunt unless the fear of capture, torture, and death was a possibility. Connor knew he would have to find her by himself. He couldn't risk one of the merry men screwing it up. Robin, you're in luck, Connor said. You'll have a travel buddy tonight. I'm going to the castle with you. Later that evening, as the sun began its descent, Connor and Robin Hood traveled to Nottingham Castle. They wore dark cloaks to camouflage themselves in the night and traveled from tree to tree in case any of the sheriff's soldiers were wandering the forest. Nottingham Castle was an enormous medieval fortress constructed from large stones. Most of the windows were very narrow, barely enough room for an arm to squeeze through. Robin Hood led Connor to a larger glass window and stood below it. Love of my life, 'tis I, Robin Hood, he called up to it. Maid Marian appeared at the window. She was pretty and wore a purple veil over her head. She looked down at the ground when she saw Robin Hood and quickly ducked behind the window, obviously trying to avoid him. Unfortunately, he saw her, and Robin Hood was heartbroken. You see, sorcerer, it is just as I told you, Robin Hood said. Her affection for me has drained from her heart. That's because you said hello like there's a stampede running behind her, Connor said. Try what we talked about. Pretend she's a baby. Robin Hood looked back at the window and tried again. Lovely lady, please open the window so I may see your beautiful eyes, Robin Hood said. He sounded like a totally different person with a quieter tone. Maid Marian peeked over the windowsill with very large eyes. Was that Robin Hood? She opened the window and looked down to make sure. Robin of Locksley? She asked. My dear Marian, you look so beautiful tonight, Robin Hood said. Is that a new veil? Yes, it is, Marian said. She was shocked he had noticed. I must say, there isn't another maiden in all the land who looks diviner than thee tonight, Robin Hood said. Marian blushed and covered her mouth to hide a grin. Oh, Robin, she giggled. Can you even see my veil from all the way down there? Will you let me in your room so that I may see it closer? Robin Hood asked. Smooth, Connor whispered and gave him a thumbs up. Marian lowered a rope of sheets tied together. Robin Hood used it to climb up the sides of the castle and sat on the windowsill. They shared a kiss and Robin crawled into Marian's room. Nice work, Connor called to the window. Don't forget the lock and key. He was so relieved. He wondered if he could have a future in couples counseling. His relief quickly wore off once he realized that he still had to find his way inside the castle to find the Witch of Puppernick. Connor ran around the castle, but he couldn't find a door or a big window enough to crawl through. He eventually found the castle's gate and shook it to see if he could pry it open, but it was solid as a rock. He just stepped away from it. The gate started rising. 4 soldiers appeared, exiting the castle. With no time to hide and very few places to go, Connor pressed his body flat against it as he could and closed his eyes. He prayed that he would magically blend into the wall like a chameleon. Luckily, the soldiers' helmets were so large that their view was obstructed. All 4 of them walked right past him. Once they were out of sight, Connor dived under the gate and entered the castle. The castle was fairly empty. The footsteps of any approaching soldier clanked so loudly that Connor heard them coming long before he saw them. The inside of the castle looked exactly like the outside. It was nothing but long halls of stone and small windows. Oh, let's see, if I were a resident witch, where would I be? Connor whispered to himself. Either the attic or the basement. That's where witches are usually hiding in these stories. He found a staircase and hurried down it. It led him to a large steel door with spikes on it. He heard a whip crack, and then a man screamed. Nope, that's definitely the dungeon, he said, and quickly turned around. He searched the castle for a way into the towers and assumed the witch had to live inside one of them. He found a spiral staircase and climbed it higher and higher, growing dizzy as it curled upward. At the top of the stairs, he found another door, but this one was ajar. Connor peeked inside a small circular room. Without a doubt, he had reached the top of the tower. The room was filled with shelves and tables and covered by strange things. There were jars of plants, liquid, and small animals. There was a cage of large animals and potion bottles and cauldrons. This was definitely the room of a witch. Connor crept inside. Excuse me, Miss Papelnick? Maudlin? He found the witch sitting in a chair in the middle of the room. She had thin gray hair and very wrinkled pale skin and wore black tattered robes. Her eyes were closed and she was still as a stone. In fact, she didn't even appear to be breathing. Please be alive, Connor said. Just as he stepped closer to check her pulse, someone else ran up the stairs behind him and knocked loudly on the door. Connor quickly hid behind a table of potion. Maudlin, are you decent? A man said at the door. The witch snorted and stirred to life. Huh? Yes, Sheriff. She coughed. You may enter. The Sheriff of Nottingham stepped inside the tower and slammed the door behind him. He was a tall and regal man, but once he was alone with the witch, he hunched over and burst into hysterical tears like a small child. I am not having a good night, Maudlin, the sheriff wailed. There, Sheriff, Maudlin said, and stood to give him a hug. Come sit down and tell Auntie Maud what happened. She sat the sheriff in her seat and stroked his hair like she would a doll's. Connor couldn't believe his eyes. He was so embarrassed just by watching the sheriff that he looked around the tower for a way out. I just made Marion to love me, the sheriff cried. No matter what I do, she'll always hate me. I've given her a nice home. I buy her nice dresses and veils, and she treats me like I'm her captor. Now, Sheriff, Maudlin said. Marion just needs to come around, that's all. I told you, women love playing hard to get. I don't think she's interested in me, the sheriff sobbed. I just knocked on her door to say goodnight and she wouldn't even open it to look at me. I'm afraid Marion might be in love with someone else. Then she's daft, if you ask me, Maudlin said. Who could possibly be more handsome or braver or more powerful than our Sheriff of Nottingham? There isn't a more suitable bachelor for miles, and if she can't see that, then she doesn't deserve you. Who else could protect Nottingham better than our sheriff? No one! Who else could achieve Prince John's visitation of our kingdom? No one! Who else could keep that nasty thief Robin Hood at bay but our sheriff? No one! Any girl would be lucky to get a look from you. Her compliments must have done the trick because the sheriff's tears dried up and his frown turned into a bashful smile. Well, I suppose you're right, he said. Thank you, Auntie Maud. You're very welcome, dearie, the witch said. I just wish I didn't have to try so hard, the sheriff said. It makes my stomach turn and it gives me a throbbing headache just thinking about it. I haven't been able to sleep for days. Let Auntie Maud take care of that for you, Maudlin said. The witch searched through her things and placed a glass of water on the table beside the sheriff. She retrieved a root from one jar, and a piece of bark from another, and an herb from the next. She crushed each item up and mixed it into the water. Alka root to calm your stomach, bark from an aspirin tree to soothe your head, and a ward of St. John to help you sleep. She handed the sheriff the glass, and he drank the concoction in one gulp. Connor thought it was a pretty harmless mixture for such a renowned witch. He took a closer look around the tower and realized the items weren't dangerous at all. There was nothing he saw that he couldn't get in a grocery store in the other world. The small animals weren't sacrifices for future potions, they were pets. There's nothing magical about the Witch of Pavelnik, he whispered to himself. She's not even a witch, she's a pharmacist. Now let's get you to your chambers. I feel much better already, the sheriff said. I'll tuck you in, Maudlin said. You'll get a good night's rest and come back to me tomorrow if you need anything else. I will, the sheriff said. Thank you, Aunt Maud. Maudlin escorted the sheriff out of the tower and down the stairs to his chamber. Connor was extremely disheartened. Thankfully, magic was the last ingredient the portal potion required. He would have 2 weeks to find someone else who could provide it while the other ingredients brewed in the potion. However, if Maudlin was any indication, someone with magic capability might be hard to find in the world of Robin Hood. Connor's stomach turned at the thought of it, and he helped himself to some alka root on his way out of the tower. He quickly and quietly climbed down the stairs and found the castle's gate. He waited until the soldiers returned from their patrol shift, pressed against the wall again as he did before, and snuck outside. He found Maid Marian's window and threw a rock at it. Robin Hood peered outside. Wrap it up, Connor called. We've got to get back to the camp. Farewell, my love, Robin Hood said quietly, at least for him. He kissed Maid Marian and climbed down the rope of sheets onto the ground. Maid Marian waved him off as he and Connor ran into the forest. Well, how did it go? Connor asked. It was a great success, sorcerer, Robin Hood said, back to his normal tone. He opened his hand and showed Connor a small lock and key he had acquired from Maid Marian. This should work now that our affections have been restored. Well, that's great, Connor said. Did you retrieve the magic from the evil witch of Pavelnik? He asked. Connor sighed and shook his head. Well, Maudlin isn't going to work out for us, Connor said. I'll have to figure something else out. Robin Hood and Connor journeyed through the woods until they arrived back at the camp. They found the Tin Man, Peter, and the Merry Men waiting by the campfire. Connor, Little John and I brought back a branch from the oldest tree in the woods. The Tin Man was happy to share. And I flew into the sky and plucked a feather from the finest pheasant I could find, Peter said. That's terrific, Connor said. And Robin just got his hands on a lock and key from Maid Marian. We have enough ingredients to start the potion. He borrowed the pot and pan from the Merry Men and went to work. He boiled water in the pot and added the tree branch and the feather. Once the lock and key had been melted in a pan, he poured it into the pot with the rest of the potion. Little John climbed on top of a nearby tree, and Peter flew the potion to him. Together they rigged the pot to the tree so that it would have a better view of the moon and soak up its light. We'll bring it back down in 2 weeks, Peter said. Did you get the magic you needed? The Tin Woodsman asked. No, Connor said sadly. Modern medicine was considered magic in the early centuries, but it's no good to us. Our new task is to find some real magic capabilities, like someone like my sister. It's too bad I'm out of pixie dust, Peter sighed. Hold on a moment, the Tin Woodsman said. Why can't you do it, Connor? Peter shrugged. It seemed logical to him, too. Connor was already shaking his head, though, before even thinking it through, like they had just asked him to juggle knives. I don't do magic, Connor said. Yeah, but your sister can, Peter said, so why can't you? Well, I suppose I could. I just don't, Connor said. Magic is very tricky. There are a lot of layers to it, and I've never done it before, at least not without my sister. The Tin Woodsman and Peter were very confused. Of all things, why was Connor self-conscious about this? But you could if you wanted to, the Tin Woodsman asked. Yes, no, I don't know, Connor said. Connor supposed it was possible, given his DNA, but he couldn't make any promises. He'd always considered magic to be like math. It was a skill Alex and only Alex had inherited. Well, we've only got 2 weeks before the potion is ready, mate, Peter said. You should think it over in case we can't find anyone else, the Tin Woodsman said. If we don't find someone else, will be stuck with the merry men forever. The more Connor thought about it, the more the pressure increased. It wasn't necessarily magic he was afraid of. He was never good in any situation that solely depended on him. Here we go. All right, friends. In case anyone didn't know, the YouTube is 100% updated as of last night. It has yesterday's video on it. You're not Connor, Becca. So it's updated through last night in case you missed anything, and then I'll put today's up later today as soon as it is ready to go. And we just have 4 chapters left. We are getting close to the end here. Yeah, 26. Wait, are there only 29 chapters? Maybe it's less than I thought. What? Guys, there might only be 29 chapters. No, there's 30. There's 30 chapters. All right. Yes, you can. I will see you all later tonight. We have Roll for Slime After Dark tonight, so get on it, get ready, get excited. I think they might be some of the last Roll for Slimes for the month, which is pretty exciting. Well, all the live ones anyway, which means if I get through all the video ones, it means we can start on Christmas stuff and Hanukkah stuff and birthday stuff. So that's exciting. Anyway, that is all.